practice. I mean, it's practice, practice, practice.
And it's you can go online and just look up mediumship certification courses. I know James Van Prague has them and Dorian Virtue has them, but there's a lot of mediumship courses you can take. But over and above the protocols that Debra just described, mediumship is learning a language that when we lose our organic bodies, our vibration exists at a different speed because it no longer has to be housing a physical body. And it's like learning Russian or Chinese. I mean, it is simply practicing to tune into being able to hear at that certain vibration level. And I do it sometimes, but I don't do it as fluently as Debra does because she practices it all the time. I practice in different areas, and so I think it's nice. That's why you hear angel therapy practitioners or Reiki practitioners. Everybody tunes into a certain vibration. Mediums tune into a certain vibration, the frequency of where people in the astral plane are. It's like a radio dial. And so Debra spends all of her time honing her language skills at that vibrational frequency, so she is incredibly fluent at that vibrational frequency. And it's just finding that, having someone teach you where it is, and then practicing it.
I am teaching a class afterwards, but we have guides that we were born with. And
I thought it was. Is it a guide class or a mediumship class?
It's actually intro to guides. It's,
okay.
I mean, its purpose is you could use it for mediumship, but it's for everybody. I mean, our guides are here to guide us in life, basically. But the way I've been taught also is that I have my guides, and my guides work with me. So when I'm doing a reading, I meditate. And I meditate and I bring all my guides in. They're all ready to go. And I actually ask them if they can position themselves so I know exactly where they're standing. And I actually will ask my guides, okay, I want you to surround me right now. And I actually can feel where they're at exactly. Okay? And my guides are the ones that they'll help me with the message. They help me with many, many things. And by me trusting having this relationship with my guides, that's why I'm able to give such a good message, an evidential, because I have this relationship that I trust spirit now. I trust my guides. I trust that they're going to give me the right information because everything I do is always for the highest and greatest good. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Do I ever bring any negative energy? No, my guides won't let them. I mean, and that's, a lot of people say, oh, this is going to happen to you. I always say, no, it won't. My guides are here to protect me. I have that trust. I have that relationship.
And they ambassador with the deceased loved one because sometimes the deceased loved ones have not experienced communicating and they don't know how to. And so a lot of times the guides will help them in that process, and the guides will, and it's the deceased loved one, their guides, Debra's guides, and Debra. There's actually 4 energies going on there aiding in the communication. And then plus the guides of the client who's sitting there, so actually 6.
Mm-hmm. We're all working together.
Yeah, everybody's working together to aid facilitation, and everybody wants a clear communication and a healing, so you have all of these people gathered with the intent.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole process.
Do we have a certain number of guides each of us?
Usually each person has about 6 or 7 guides that are with you.
You have a master guide, a communication guide, you have an alchemist, you have a healing guide, and there's usually first primary roles as a life path guide, but you can get new teachers coming in all the time. Guides can change roles. They can have 2 or 3 different roles. Everybody's guidance system is completely unique to them.
You have inner guides that are with you for your whole life and from the beginning to the end, and then you have your outer bound, which they come and go as you could change your socks, but your outer guides are like your specialist guides. Like you can ask for a guide to help you for a specific reason. For me, I have one of my specialist guide is I ask for a medium as a specialist guide to help me with my messages, and he's an old English medium. And he helps me with my messages. I mean, he's right. I go, okay, Sebastian, are you here? yep, I'm here. And he's right here, and he helps me with my messages. So, I mean, I have a lot of specialist guides that I ask to help me for certain instances, and they will help. You know, when you're asking, and for all of you guys, if you want a specialist guide, ask for a specialist guide, but be very clear what you're asking. What do you want the specialist guide to do for you? You know, your other guides will work with you, and I know all of us in life have. I felt like if we were driving somewhere, I mean, sometimes when I'm driving somewhere, I can actually feel spirit taking my steering wheel and making me go a certain way. And it's like, okay, I got the message. Whether I'm avoiding an accident or if I'm not going where I'm supposed to, I mean, I can actually feel that. And I know that all of us have gone somewhere or felt something that it's like something that we shouldn't do. You know, it's intuitive, or you feel that it's your gut feeling or something. And this, a lot of times, is your guides trying to direct you, trying to help you. I mean, that's the whole process. They're not here to tell you what to do. They're here to help us with our path, to guide us. Okay, they're not the ones who are telling, oh, this is what you have to do, and this is the way it's going to be, or this is going to happen. No, it's about you living your life the way you want to, but they're here to guide you. That's kind of like extra help, you know, and not paying for it. You know,
They're your absolute best friends.
yes, they are.
So it really is beneficial. The more we can tune in to the
yeah.
messages, the better.
Definitely.
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
So you've talked to a lot of people on the other side, and do you have a general idea of what it's like on the other side?
They show me. I mean, again, when a spirit comes in, like for instance, yesterday I was bringing the woman's father that she didn't want to hear from, and I was telling her, God, he was good looking when he was young, and she said, yeah, but when he was older, she goes, you know, his skin and everything. And I said, well, Spirit's going to come in whichever way they want to, you know. I mean, they're going to come in when they are so beautiful at one time, the way they want to, or they're going to show me how beautiful it is. I mean, how green it is, or whatever they want to show you, they will show you how beautiful it is. So yes,
Yeah, it's how they create. It's the world that they create there.
yeah, it's pretty.
So you're seeing it through their perception.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, it's not any one way. Each of them has their own world that they create.
Just like here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when I do get messages, sometimes they'll give me symbology. A lot of times they'll give me symbology. As a medium, I had to create my own like dictionary of all this. Like, what does this mean to me? What does this mean to me? So I create my own symbology dictionary, basically, you know, and that's how I can figure out, okay, this is what they're telling me, this is what it means, okay? Now, sometimes when I'm giving the message, and I'm giving it to that person, and the way I'm telling them is not the way they perceive it, but again, the message is not for me to understand, it's the message is for you to understand. That's the key, you know? So when I teach, which I do teach a lot, I teach mediumship, and a lot of the students, it's like, I don't understand the message. I don't understand the message. And again,
It's not for you to understand.
it's for the sitter. It's for that person to understand, because the message is not for you. So it doesn't matter. Just say what you hear or feel. Now again, in mediumship, it's about you're clairvoyant, where you could actually see. Either you're going to see with your third eye or with your naked eye, that you could actually see spirit. I'm clairvoyant with my third eye. Believe it or not, I'm a medium I don't want to see spirit sitting on the foot of my bed. I choose not to, because they would be visiting me. I mean, they're around me all the time, but they would be visiting me all the time.
It would be distracting. No, I said the same thing. I do not want to walk in my living room and see somebody sitting there that I don't know.
Right.
Yes.
So, I mean, people laugh at me and they say, really? And I said, yeah. I said, I'm the one, when I go in my house, I turn all the lights. You know, and it's kind of funny, but, you know, that's just who I am.
I actually set a precedence. I mean, I said, you are not allowed in my house. My home is my home, and there was one time my daughter felt the presence sitting on her bed, and my other daughter felt the trash can getting kicked over, and I went, out, everybody, right now, no one comes in, guardian angels on all four corners, this is my home, and you are not allowed in here unless I specifically am with a client and I invite you in. Do you understand? And it was very clear, very firm. I do not want to walk in, I don't want to sense any presences in my home that are not me and my dog and my kids and my husband. That's just, I think he's kind of.
I'm the same thing, because
Yeah.
I mean, again, and again, when you're doing mediumship, or even if you could feel energy around you, you have control of the situation. Don't ever think that they have control, because you have control. You are your own boss. I mean, this is your life. Okay.
And it's like that show Medium, the Alison Dubois. I mean, they show she's in the shower and she comes out and, you know, with her towel on, and her dead father-in-law is sitting on the toilet.
Yes,
talking to her.
love that one.
No.
Yeah, that's a question that a lot of people ask. Like, do they see everything that you're doing?
They could.
They could, but it's really, no, they don't. You know, I mean, they have other things they want to do. They don't want to sit with you for 24 hours. You know?
They're coming to talk to you, not look at you in the shower. Yeah.
But I mean, again, I'm clairvoyant. I'm clairaudient. When I first started, I only could hear spirit. But I'm clairaudient. I also feel clairsentience. I could feel also. I can tell if somebody died a certain way. Spirit will show me. They'll not only show me, but I can feel it in my body. You know. But in time, I developed that. You know. But I could always hear messages very clearly. But I mean, I could pretty much describe if your father is here and what he's wearing and so forth, or what he's showing me, you know. But those are skills. Some people only hear. I mean, there's mediums that will sit in a spiritualist church that only can hear. Some can only feel, and they still can give you that same message.
That's right.
You know. So
I'm going to wrap it up. I was going to share one thing, is that you probably get this too. It's validating with clients. A lot of times you get a message, and you need them to validate, because that's where the flow really starts moving. And I had this session one time where this woman's father came through, and he was standing there looking at her, and he was saying Bella. And I went into interpretation. I said, "Did you have a nickname from your father? Did he used to call you Bella?" And she said, "No." And I went, "Okay, that's really strange." I mean, it was so incredibly clear. And we talked a bit more, and then she talked about her boyfriend, and that he was separated from his wife, and that they were having trouble because he was deciding whether he was going to be going back to his wife. And she said, he's feeling really guilty, and I understand, because he doesn't want to divorce her. They have a little girl. And I said, "What's the little girl's name?" And she said, "Bella." And I went,
yeah,
and her father was coming in saying, you know, you need to let him go, because he needs to be a father to Bella. And yet, and that's not that usual of a name, that common of a name, but it's really funny. I mean, sometimes you'll give them validations, and they'll say, no, it doesn't mean anything. And it's like, really? And then I had a woman call me once a week after a reading, and she had sat there and said, no, doesn't mean anything, don't know what you mean, don't know that person, it means nothing to me. And I went, okay. And I think she called me a week later, and she went, "Oh, yes, I remember that person now. You're exactly right. It was them, and it was this, and it was this, and it was this." It took her a week for it to click.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, your confidence can really get shaken when they look at you
time.
and go, no, it means nothing. You're like,
It's funny.
So,
yeah.
let's just wrap up. Debra's going to be teaching a class here. We'll close the camera, and I'll do all the events. But Debra is teaching a class here this afternoon. Starts at 1.